There is a truth about narcissists that almost no one sees. Once you understand it, you will never look at their behavior the same way again. Behind the confidence that seems impossible to shake, behind the charm that appears effortless, and behind the sense of superiority that overwhelms everyone around them, there is a quiet form of suffering that never fully goes away. Most people believe narcissists are happy with themselves. They assume narcissists enjoy the pain they cause. They think these individuals move through life feeling satisfied, untouched by guilt, untouched by emptiness, and untouched by the fears that affect ordinary people. But the deeper psychological reality is far more complicated. The narcissist is not the untouchable person they appear to be. In many ways, they are among the most emotionally troubled people you will ever meet. Their suffering is hidden so well that even the people closest to them often fail to recognize it. What you are about to understand will reveal the inner world of the narcissist in a way that very few people ever see. If you want to understand the human mind on a deeper level, if you want to recognize manipulation, understand hidden emotions, and uncover the psychological patterns that shape human behavior, stay with this journey. What comes next only makes sense when you are willing to look beneath the surface. And once you do, it becomes much harder to be fooled by appearances. The first sign of deep narcissistic suffering is almost invisible from the outside, yet it sits at the center of everything they do. It is a constant feeling of emptiness. From the outside, narcissists often appear full of self-confidence. They seem convinced of their own importance. They appear proud, self-assured, and completely satisfied with who they are. But inside, there is often a hollow space where a stable sense of self should exist. This emptiness is not something that comes and goes. It is not caused by a bad day or a difficult situation. It remains with them almost all the time. They feel it during moments of silence. They feel it when attention disappears. They feel it when nobody is watching. They feel it when no one is praising them or reflecting back the image they want the world to see. And because this emptiness feels unbearable, they spend much of their lives trying to fill it from the outside. They chase attention because without it, they begin to feel invisible. They seek status because it temporarily distracts them from what they are feeling inside. They demand admiration because the moment it disappears, they are forced to face the emptiness they work so hard to avoid. This is one reason narcissists rarely find peace. Stillness becomes uncomfortable. Solitude feels like punishment. Quiet moments expose the very thing their grand image is designed to hide. You may notice that they constantly create noise around themselves. They fill silence with endless talking. They replace uncertainty with bold claims. They fill empty spaces with new goals, new conflicts, new relationships, and new audiences. What looks like constant activity is often a form of escape. The thing they are running from is the painful experience of being alone with themselves, without the mask, without the performance, and without the image they depend on. The second sign appears in something many people misunderstand completely. It is their constant dissatisfaction with everything they have. To outsiders, this often looks like ambition. It looks like someone with high standards. It looks like a person who refuses to settle for less. But underneath that appearance lies a different reality. Many narcissists struggle to experience lasting satisfaction. The moment they achieve something they wanted, the excitement quickly fades. The relationship that once seemed perfect suddenly becomes disappointing. The accomplishment that once felt important loses its meaning. The person they once admired begins to seem ordinary and flawed. This does not happen because life keeps letting them down. It happens because their inner world is unable to hold on to feelings of fulfillment for very long. True satisfaction requires a person to feel secure, grounded, and emotionally connected to themselves. The narcissist often lacks these foundations. As a result, they live in a constant state of wanting more attention, more success, more admiration, more proof that they matter. Yet no matter how much they receive, it rarely feels like enough. This creates a painful form of psychological suffering. From the outside, it looks like motivation and ambition. On the inside, it feels like endless hunger. They achieve goals and feel empty. They enter relationships and feel empty. They collect accomplishments and still feel empty. Instead of looking inward to understand why this happens, they often blame the outside world. They convince themselves that the next achievement will finally satisfy them. The next relationship will finally make them happy. The next admirer will finally fill the void. But it never does, because the problem was never outside of them. The wound exists within, and no amount of external success can heal a wound that remains hidden from awareness. The third sign goes even deeper. It is something narcissists work very hard to conceal. It is the exhausting effort required to maintain a false self. Every narcissist creates an image. This image is stronger, smarter, more attractive, more successful, more important, and more special than they truly feel inside. This image is not simply a role they play from time to time. It becomes an entire psychological structure, and protecting that structure requires enormous energy. Imagine living every day as if you are performing on a stage. Imagine never feeling free to step out of character. Imagine carrying the fear that if people ever saw the real you, everything you built would collapse. This is the burden many narcissists carry. They constantly monitor how others see them. They pay close attention to impressions. They think about how they are being judged. They analyze conversations. They search for signs that their image is being questioned. They cannot allow themselves to be fully known because being fully known means being fully seen. And being fully seen means confronting parts of themselves they have spent years trying to avoid. This pressure creates exhaustion. It often appears as irritability. Sometimes it appears as sudden anger. Other times it appears as emotional withdrawal, cold behavior, or an intense need for control. Many people wonder why someone who appears powerful and confident can become so upset over a small criticism. The answer is deeper than it seems. They are not simply protecting their ego. They are protecting the structure that keeps them emotionally together. The narcissist is not arrogant because they genuinely feel superior. They are arrogant because feeling ordinary is unbearable. Their grandiosity is not a sign of healthy self-love. It is an attempt to compensate for a fragile sense of self that never fully developed. This is also why narcissistic injury can be so devastating. When someone points out their flaws, questions their image, or refuses to provide admiration, it does not feel like a minor problem. It feels like a direct threat to their existence. For the narcissist, the false self is not just a matter